Hey guys, welcome back to the Unsavvy Budgeter. For those of you that are new to this channel, my name's Cindy and I take you along with me on my debt-free journey to pay off over $71,000 in credit card and student loan debt. In this video, we're going over our budget for the month of May, and we finally accounted for sinking funds, so stay tuned for that. So here is our combined budget showing the month of May. When it comes to our gross income, not too much has changed, although I did get a slight raise, and that was taken into effect at late April. So for the month of May, you'll see that my gross income is slightly higher than what you usually see in the prior months. That brings our total gross income before any deductions are taken out to $17,017.94. There's really no changes in our deductions. My husband's total deductions is $3,637.28. My deductions is $3,117.60. Here you'll see my federal and state withholdings have been taken into effect, as well as 401k and Roth IRA contributions. So with our net income that we're expecting this month, we have our usual pay from our 9-to-5 jobs, no bonuses, no gifts. We are expecting a reimbursement for HSA money for $300, and we're accounting for some side hustle money at $1,036.24, which brings us to a total net income of $11,599.30. No changes to the household expenses. It's the same expenses that you see month to month. So we are expecting household expenses to be $2,034.84. The changes we have to transportation is we are expecting to pay for our insurance this month. So we've accounted for $915 for insurance, and we have increased our budget for gasoline slightly for the month at $125 because we're expecting to do a little bit more driving than usual since we'll be driving to see my parents for Mother's Day. So we wanted to give ourselves a little bit of a cushion there. So total expected budget for transportation is $1,040. For food, we have adjusted our eating out expense as well as groceries. So for this month, we have set ourselves a budget to $150. It's $50 less than what we had the prior month. And for eating out, we increased our budget by $100. So for this month, it's $250, and that's going to be our budget going forward. Budget for total food is $400. When it came to utilities, we adjusted our electricity budget slightly and dropped it down to $150. So it's a $25 difference than you have seen in the prior month. And that brings our total utilities to $445.35. Next, we have subscriptions, and there's no changes there. We are expecting to budget for $49.97. No life events happening for moving yet, but we leave it there because we expect that that's going to happen towards the end of the year. And then personal spend, I decided that starting this month, I wanted to decrease my budget by $50. So I gave myself $150 for personal spend money from this month going forward, which gives us a total personal spend budget of $285. I decided to give myself a new category called Health and Beauty. Thanks to one of the viewers, I got this idea from them. And I decided to do some subcategories. So this is for any medication, therapy, as well as esthetician. I started seeing my esthetician again. She just recently opened back up due to being shut down for the pandemic. So I accounted for that. For therapy this month, we're looking at $450 just because it's a longer month. So we'll be able to have 3 sessions there. And my esthetician, we've budgeted for $170 from this month going forward. This is also why I decided to cut back on my personal spend money, since I've decided to add more categories for other expenses that I would be spending my personal spend money on. So with health and beauty, we have budgeted $620. We added clothing, and there's no money expected for clothing yet, but it's a nice line item to have just because we eventually do want to update our wardrobe a little bit. So we want to make sure that we budget for that in the future. So that's staying there. For pet care, we adjusted our subcategories a little bit. We no longer have the $160 on this line item because we've decided to do a sinking fund for our pet insurance. We did add a line item for food supplies since we noticed that we spent a little bit of money in the month of April for dog food. So we decided to set aside $20 for this month for any cat food or cat litter that we need to buy. And we have adjusted the budget for food and supplies going forward based on what we predict we would need. And then we have a budget for $100 for vet expenses this month, just because our pets are due for some annual vaccines. So we decided to put $100 there. And we've added a line item for grooming for our dog, and that's $35 every month so that we can make sure that she's going to get her nails trimmed and all the maintenance that she needs. So that's that. And that gives us to a grand total of $155 for this month. We've finally added a gifts section with more subcategories, and we decided that we needed to budget this month for $100 because we have Mother's Day to account for. So we've added $100 there, and we've given ourselves a total budget of $100 for gifts. And this month is when I need to pay Uncle Sam for federal taxes. So we've budgeted for $5,062 to pay off the remaining taxes that we need. Other category, no changes there, just the exercise equipment as usual, and that's at $66.42. No changes to savings, the usual $205 we have for the budget. And this is a new category, is the sinking funds. We have a lot of categories, subcategories for our sinking funds, and we tried to account for all of that. So we have a sinking fund for home maintenance. We do have to do some home repairs like fixing our fence and buying a new water softener. We do want to get our home in good shape before we move out at the end of the year and to get this property ready for a rental. So we wanted to go ahead and start saving for those expenses so that it doesn't hit us hard later on when it's time for us to move. So that's where you'll see $250 there. So we're hoping to kind of budget for $2,000 by the end of the year for any home repairs we need to do. We also have added a line item for car maintenance, and we decided not to budget anything for this month, but starting next month, we're going to budget $50. We also add a line item for car expenses. We're going to start that for next month. And then we have gifts, and that's something that we'll start saving for next month as well. Travel, nothing this month, but that's something we'll start saving for next month. So if we want to squeeze in a vacation or something end of this year, we can. And pet insurance, That's where the $160 went. We decided to add it here, and we'll set that aside to pay for our pet insurance that gets billed to us quarterly, so we can just pull from that. We have a subscription section, and that's something we'll start saving for next month. And this is to count for all the annual subscriptions that we often forget, like AAA, Prime membership. So this should help cover all of those expenses. Then we have moving expenses. This is something that we started to save for starting this month because we know it's going to add up quickly. So we're going to set aside $500 every month to give us a nice cushion to help pay for any moving expenses that we have when it's time for us to go. Clothing, nothing for this month, but we decided starting next month we'll start saving some money. So that's $20 every month, and hopefully that will help a little bit. A lot of these sinking funds can adjust over time depending on what we feel like our needs are and if our needs change. So that can always be adjusted month per month. And we added a business line item since we've noticed a lot of business expenses have come up, but we are not expecting a lot of business expenses going forward. So we've just set aside $10, but that's not taking into effect until next month. We decided to not do a lot of the sinking funds until next month, just because we knew that we had federal taxes to pay this month, and we wanted to make sure that we had enough money to set aside for that. So that's why you'll see that a lot of the sinking funds aren't happening until June. So for the total budget for sinking funds for the month of May, we're looking at $910. And that really only leaves us with $225.72 left. So not much compared to what we've reported in the previous months, but that's because we're accounting for the federal taxes, so there isn't much left over. But we're hoping to really start picking up the debt payoff for the student loans back up in the month of June. So here's our other tab that shows our pie chart and our bar graph. Here we've listed our income sources. Obviously, it's based on what we expect as of today or what money we already have accounted for. So side hustles and reimbursements is all we have listed. We haven't added our paychecks yet, so that's going to look a lot different when we do our budget update in the month of May. There's also still time to grow that side hustle money, so that may change as well. But for now, we have a little over $1,300 accounted for in our income for the month of May. Then when it comes to all of our categories, we have that listed here. And we have the amounts that we budgeted for, which I've talked about in the previous tab. So those totals that you saw for the categories are automatically reflected here in this budgeted column. And our actual spending is all zeros except for the fact of 401k, our IRA, and HSA. That's always expected, so we go ahead and just take that out immediately or account for that as the actual spending. In total, we're looking at close to $13,000 for our budget. Without the 401k and HSA, it's looking more realistically like $11,600. And our pie chart looks a little bit different for this month because we have not a high percentage for debt payoff, but it's actually Uncle Sam for our federal taxes. So that takes up the hugest piece of our pie chart at a little over 39%, and a sad slice at close to 2% for debt payoff for the student loans. Household is coming in second at a little over $2,000 here, so 16% almost. And then the 401k, IRA in third, close to 10%. Transportation is taking a little bit over 8% of our budget. Sinking funds around 7%. Health and beauty at almost 5%. Utilities is at 3.5%. Food a little over 3%. Savings a little over 1.5%. Pet care is a little over 1%, and our personal spend money at a little over 2%. So this is what is taking up most of our budget. And then we have our little bar graph here, which looks nice and clean now because we haven't accounted for any actual spending. But once we do our budget update, obviously that's going to change. And the only thing you can see that's accounted for here is the 401k, IRA, and HSA money. So that's why you see that is the lonely red bar on this chart. We hope that you guys like the slight new additions that we've added to this month, and we're really excited to have the sinking funds added because that means we're going to be able to cash flow a lot of our future expenses, and that will add a lot of relief for us knowing that we can pull from those sinking funds and not have to go back into debt. We know that we can always adjust those things going forward, just like how you guys have seen a lot of our categories and our budget has been changing almost every month, especially the food and spending categories. It's something we can start and test with for the month of May. So yeah, let me know if your sinking funds look anything like ours. I would love to hear that in the comments. And if you liked the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you can stay tuned for future videos. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to catch you guys in the next one.